Lights, camera, biceps, ditch. Let's watch this movie and flex our shit. Movie buff, flexing real hard, watching badass stuff. Movie buff. We don't watch no movies that suck big nuts. Movie buff. Damn, I just ripped my shirt cause I flex too much. Movie buff. Open up the backpack full of snacks, let's relax. Pop the movie and then pass the peanut butter cups.
What up, guys? This is Adam here with another episode of Movie Buffs. And in this episode, we are going to be talking about the 1988 Van Damme movie, Bloodsport. And joining me today to discuss this badass movie is my homie, John. John, say what's up.
What's up, guys? Here for another episode with my buddy Adam.
All right. So before we get started talking about our play-by-play and discussing the movie, John, when is the last time you saw Bloodsport?
So besides yesterday, I can hardly remember. I don't remember watching it. I don't think I remember watching it as a kid. I probably saw it, I don't know, when I was maybe my late 20s, early 30s.
Shit.
Yeah, I mean, I probably did see it as a kid. I just don't remember any of it. I don't know, it might have been 8-9 years ago since I've seen it. Who knows? That's
a long goddamn time. So you didn't grow up with this movie like ingrained into your psyche as a fucking man?
Nope. If anything that I saw, maybe it was subliminally in my mind and the background, but I don't remember anything.
If anybody hasn't seen this movie, for those of you crazy bastards who have not seen this amazing movie, this movie is it's almost like Rocky. Like it's crazy how important this movie is to a lot of men when it comes to just being a man, especially any guy who has studied martial arts at any point in his life. Bloodsport has had a crazy effect on so many dudes across the world. It's just, and I'm gonna say it right now, like, this movie is not as good as Rocky, but it's better.
In some ways, yeah.
All right. Yeah, I saw this movie. I saw this movie plenty of times when I was a kid and growing up as a teenager, and plenty of times as an adult. I've seen this movie a lot, so I have lots of memories with this goddamn movie, and I love it for multiple reasons. And It was easy watching it again, just super easy.
Now, do you think you like the movie, or do you think you'll be able to get a fair review, like a non-biased, like non-nostalgic review of it? Or are you going to be...
John, I am a professional movie reviewer, okay? And I'm about to give my professional, non-biased review, okay? I would never let anything like my feelings get in the way of me putting forth an honest, fair review.
All right, that's good to know.
Although, I'm going to also say that the whole point of a lot of these criterias of the review is to be objective and biased.
Yeah.
Okay, all right. The movie starts off with a series of fighters disciplined in different martial arts, all training and preparing for an upcoming full contact event called the Kumite. We meet Frank Dux, played by Jean-Claude Van Damme, also training for the event. He is currently enlisted in the U.S. military, and he's competing without their consent. So he goes AWOL to go to Hong Kong, but before he does, he stops by to visit his dying teacher, Tanaka, who taught him how to fight. While there, he has flashbacks of how he first met him and his son. His son dies at an early age, so Tanaka agrees to train Frank Dux in the martial art passed down in his family, and Van Damme wants to honor Tanaka by competing in the Kumite. John, there's probably, I'm not that I've ever been in the military, but if I was in the military, I would think that there's a small handful of good reasons to go AWOL. And I'm gonna tell you right now, leaving to fight in the Kumite, Bloodsport, is right at the top of that list. That's probably the best reason to go AWOL if you're enlisted in the Army, Marines, or whatever.
I think you and Jean-Claude's mind are in sync because those are about the only two things that would probably, or that's the only thing that would probably get him out of the military. I think everyone else would be pretty scared to leave the military for that because I think it's a pretty big deal.
You know what
I think
though?
it's gonna be in a lot. Should be in a lot of trouble.
Because it's a contact sport, probably. But they have boxing in the military. Like there's
Mhm.
military boxing. There's wrestling in the military. They're like that's where Randy
Yeah,
Rand,
they have sports teams, at Army, football and stuff, and
yeah, Randy Couture, that's where he wrestled. He wrestled in the military because it was going to be his way to
okay,
actually getting, I think, to the Olympics. He went through the military route. So that's why they always call him Captain America because he was in the military. So I mean,
all right,
it's not like the military is fucking, all foreign to combat sports or anything like that. Hell, even Arnold Schwartz, I know it's not combat, but like Arnold Schwarzenegger, and this was back in Austria, like everybody in Austria was required to do, I think, at least 2 years in the military. It was required of every man in
yeah,
Austria. So when he was doing his
couple countries are like that.
yeah. So when he was doing
Yeah,
his stint in the army, he was a tank driver, and I want to say he didn't go AWOL, or maybe he did for his first competition. Yes, I think he went AWOL for his first bodybuilding competition, and when he won, and his unit or whatever found out about it, they actually liked it and encouraged it, and they would let him go win more
Hmm.
competitions. I guess it made them look good or whatever. I don't know.
That's interesting. I guess, yeah, maybe the European or overseas philosophy about leaving the military isn't as strict, or maybe more common.
Yeah. But I think that's badass. So they should have been backing their boy from the fucking start instead of, trying to get in his way from honoring his master Shidoshi and shit. This movie right here showcases why you got to be willing to break the law every now and then, especially if you're a ninja, John.
Yeah. So yeah, the opening scenes, all the different martial arts training. Uh, how realistic do you think it was of them, like when they're like breaking blocks of ice, cracking coconuts? I think coconuts are pretty freaking hard. I don't think they can crack coconuts or those ice blocks.
I okay, so I'm not a hater on traditional martial arts completely.
Hmm.
I do think a lot of them are weaker martial arts. However, there was a time where they were more hardcore, and ultimately, even if they might not be the most effective in a real life fight, a lot of these old school traditional martial artists, man, they could do some impressive shit. So the whole breaking ice and breaking coconuts and breaking boards and all that kinds of shit, do I think that they would do that to train? I don't think so, because that's more like demonstration shit for their ability. You don't go around fucking breaking ice on a daily basis just to train for a fucking tournament. That's ridiculous. You're going to do sparring or, body conditioning and maybe some toughening up conditioning, but like you don't want to risk breaking your hand because you're outside breaking bricks all day if you're going to fucking fight.
Yeah.
But do I think fighters could do that shit? Yes. I think they could, like
Okay.
I think there's people out there who can do all that shit. There's videos of people out there doing some pretty crazy stuff. And it's easy to say, "Oh, that's got to be fake." But for the most part, yeah, I think there's some people out there who can break some badass shit. Now, that doesn't mean that they're going to be like super effective in a real fight, but like, do they have the ability to break some shit? Hell yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I see that now. I'm on YouTube. I see a video posted 11 years ago. He's cracking some ice with kicks, his elbow. He's smart enough not to punch it with his fist, but yeah, he's definitely breaking some. It looks like about 2 inches, maybe 3 inches thick.
Yeah,
That's pretty
man.
solid.
I would say like the most impressive display of like martial art demonstrations I ever see is from actual Shaolin monks, because it is a real thing. Like Shaolin monks do really train kung fu to do the whole mastermind and body shit like that, but they're a pacifist kind of religion, so they're not going to really engage in combat. Not really. It's more just to guide their lifestyle or whatever. But I I've seen videos of them doing a few crazy things that when they choose to showcase it to the public, and they're pretty badass. Like they're amazing. They're insane. And then yeah, I've seen, karate dudes and hardcore fucking old school taekwondo dudes doing some pretty heavy duty demonstration shit. I don't know if you see it a whole lot nowadays. I don't know if they still do hardcore demonstrations like at karate competitions and martial arts competitions like taekwondo or whatever. I know they do demos, but I think it's like the little baby boards and just, more
Yeah.
for their acrobatics and shit like that. But I think back then, the reason a lot of that shit would exist, the whole showcasing of that stuff, is because literally the world of martial arts was kind of a mystery. Nothing was proven. Nothing.
Hmm.
So it was always a question as to what martial art was the best, who was the baddest man in the world, like, what was deadly, what wasn't, what worked. And like, so they would just show demonstrations to show, look what I can do with my martial arts. But they would never actually go out and fight in full contact because A, there wasn't any organization that did it until the UFC came around, and B, nobody wants to risk losing and
Hmm.
making themselves look bad. And
Yeah.
everything that they fucking demonstrate for and fight for, and it just, it means shit after that. I mean, how ridiculous would Steven Seagal make himself look even more than he is right now if he actually fought somebody and just got smoked really bad with his fucking shitty
Hmm.
aikido? Like,
Yeah.
you'd never be able to recover from that. So I will say though, dude, I after watching this movie, and there's another movie that had this martial art. There, you remember the monkey guy, the guy climbing the tree,
Yeah. Hmm.
the coconut guy? Yeah, so he had
Yep.
like
Yep.
that monkey martial art. I went
Hmm.
investigating after I saw this movie at some point in time to find out whether or not there actually was a monkey martial art, because I thought it was fucking cool. I thought it was super dope, and I was like, dang, I want to see some videos of somebody fighting like a monkey. And it turns out that it is not real. It is completely fabricated for film, and it broke my heart. Like it broke my heart because this movie isn't the only movie that has displayed a monkey style martial art. There was another movie called The Quest, which also had
Hmm.
Van Damme, and there was a monkey fighter in there too. So I don't know if maybe Van Damme is the one who's creating that shit himself and throwing it in movies, but it did make me pretty sad.
Yeah, he was looking pretty goofy in his fights. The only thing he did a pretty good, like kind of like a single leg, double leg takedown that looked like would actually work. But besides that, it was more comical.
It was comical, but it was amazing. Okay. It was amazing. Now, yeah, there like some of the fight choreography is a little hokey or whatever, but
Hmm.
overall, I love the fight scenes because like the fight scenes, they're not meant to display like super badass hardcore fighting. They're meant to, number one, be fun, and two, to like tell a story, so like every fight that Van Damme has, there's a there's kind of a back and forth battle going on with his fight scenes, from the very first fight that he ends up having to where he beats the guy who said he was going to whoop his ass because he took that reporter chick from him, so that
Hmm.
right there was like vindication. Haha, I whooped your ass. And he broke a record, so it pissed off Chun Li. So that was the point of
Hmm.
that fight, right? And then like later on, we get that badass fight scene with that big fat dude who's not quite a sumo guy but almost a sumo guy, maybe he
Yeah.
was. And like that was just super cool because he's overcoming the big strong dude, and then the way he beats him is by going straight up fucking split mode Johnny Cage, fucking hitting him right in the dick. So it's just it's it's clever storytelling. It's cool. It doesn't really matter about the technique because you're just having fun with it.
Well, I mean, this movie came first before Johnny Cage, so
Yeah. So Frank Dux's character is actually the inspiration for Johnny Cage,
yeah.
which is awesome. Mortal
Hmm.
Kombat basically stole their characters from a whole bunch of different, things that the whoever made it just liked. They saw a bunch of characters that they liked, and they were like, "Oh, I'm gonna put that in my movie. I mean, my video game."
Yeah, I mean, here and like when he's doing the training with his master earlier, when they were doing like the throws and stuff, the master was doing some. He had like two maybe legit throws, but the rest of them were like Tai Chi BS.
Yeah, it's
So
pretty garbage. I mean, it might work against a noob, you know, like, and Van Damme, I guess, was supposed to be kind of a noob, but I don't know. John, you know how
yes.
he's competing to honor his Shidoshi?
Uh
John, was there ever a time when you competed, whether it's now or in the past, that you have competed so that you can honor me, seeing as I'm your Shidoshi?
huh. A little bit every time, yeah. I mean, I don't want to represent. I don't want to look too bad, but uh, I mean, it crosses my mind. So yeah, I mean, I do want to look good for the your team, our team. So
For those
it's a
listening, I've been doing jujitsu since 2003, and I've been teaching for a while as well. And John is my first black belt. So John, how long have you been training?
I think I'm on year 16 about.
Yeah, 16 years. So we both have been doing jujitsu for quite a while, and we both had our share of competitions out there. Just jujitsu, you know, we don't go fight in a cage or anything like that, but we get our share of competitions. John's been competing a lot lately. I have not been competing at all. John, so I was doing a little research.
Hmm.
You know what's crazy? So one might watch this movie and they see the part where Jean-Claude Van Damme is being stretched so that he can do the
Hmm.
splits. One
Hmm.
might watch this movie and they might think to themselves, look at this ridiculous bullshit. That is not how they do it. But I did a little research, and while it isn't necessarily recommended and it's probably not done a whole lot that much anymore, this whole rope stretching technique they use in the movie to help Van Damme do the splits, as wild as it looks, it's not completely bullshit.
I could
There
see that,
there are
Asia.
yeah, there are indeed instances of people using ropes and pulleys to stretch the muscles. If you go online right now and you look up the word Pravilo, that's Pravilo. If you look that up like on YouTube or whatever like that, a lot of what you're going to see is pretty goddamn similar to exactly what was going on in Van Damme's scene when he was getting stretched by those ropes.
Hmm.
And they do that shit also. I mean, this one I think was more hardcore, but you know, he does that same shit in the Kickboxer movie with the ropes fucking pulling him and stretching him apart. And I myself on Amazon have seen like those stretching machines where you sit down and it has like a wheel in front of you and you turn
Hmm.
it and it opens up your legs. It's not as hardcore as the ropes and definitely not as hardcore as you being suspended in the air, but still, it's not a completely crazy thing.
Yeah, yeah, I see that. Yeah.
Do some yeah, so some of the things that you're seeing, it's not too it's not too dissimilar, is it?
Nope. I see some that are doing straight splits. With that, yeah, one on each leg. There's floating in the air, and yeah, a lot of that stuff.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Hmm.
All right, so when Frank gets to Hong Kong, he meets Ray Jackson, a big burly man who is also competing in the Kumite. They become friends very quickly. They meet their guide Lin, who takes them through a deep and dangerous part of Hong Kong to find their underground fighting arena where they're going to be hosting the Kumite. He proves his entry into the event by performing the Dimok, the death touch, demonstrating it on bricks. We meet Chong Li for the first time, the defending champion. Two members of the military, Helmer and Rollins, have also come to Hong Kong to find Frank and take him back. We also get introduced to Janice, a reporter who is trying to do a story on the secret Kumite event. She shows interest in Frank Dux, partly because of his charm and partly because she wants to get more info for her story.
So that has a scene which I think is probably going to be the most believable thing in the movie is Jackson and Frank's bonding over a video game, becoming best buds.
Yes, if there is one way that grown ass men who are destined to fight and kill each other can bond as men, it's gonna be over video games.
Hell
You
yeah.
know, like then it was some goddamn arcade game. Now it's probably gonna be something like Call of Duty or something like that. But still,
Uh-huh.
very realistic. John, those Hong Kong alleys that they get taken through to find the
Hmm.
Kumite, you know, they were all shady as shit. Have you ever had to go through like a pretty shady ass part of town or anything like that? Like walked through like a shady ass part of town or a shady place? Like if you have, were you nervous or scared, or did you take it like a man?
uh, no, I don't think I've been anything like in like big cities like New York or something like alleyways. I don't think I've had to go through anything like that. No. I've been overseas, Europe a couple times, but I never felt like I was in danger or anything. Even some of their bigger cities are like overpopulated and really cramped. So walking through the streets does kind of feel like that. But I mean, I would never call them shady or felt like in danger.
In those big cities that you're talking about, where like it's over
Hmm.
kind of overpopulated and people are just walking everywhere,
Hmm.
they're walking like on the sidewalks, or they're walking in the streets too, or are there cars driving during all that?
Yeah, there's cars, sidewalks. So there's sidewalks and cars. So they're mostly on the sidewalk, but like the streets are like they're super narrow. Like they look like sometimes like just like one lane streets most of the way. But like sometimes you have cars like going back and forth like both ways. So like this is because back in the day when they were first built, they just weren't built with the width of an idea of like having multiple cars on there. So
Yeah.
just over, just too, just, packed on top of each other. What about you?
Um, I mean, not in a while. Like I know,
Yeah.
like when I was growing up, I'd go to my grandma's quite a bit, and my grandma always lived on the kind of ghetto side of town.
Hmm.
Like three or four different times. Like whether it was north side, where it was a bunch of black people, or the west side, where it was a bunch of Mexicans or whatever. So I mean, but for the most part, I don't really remember ever being afraid of any of it. But I mean, there were a lot of ghetto ass people walking around, little gangster hoodlums and shit like that.
Hmm.
So it was whatever, not too big of a deal. Nothing ever got too crazy. John, so I was doing a little research on Frank Dukes. Have you like done any research at all, or like watched
Mm,
any videos about him, like the real Frank Dukes? Because this movie starts off by saying that it's supposed to be inspired by a true story, or maybe it says it at the very end, but it does say it. It says inspired by the real life events of Frank Dukes or some shit like that.
so yeah, it does say that at the end of the movie, but I just thought it was complete BS.
Okay, so it is partially BS and it is partially true. There is a real guy named Frank Dukes,
Mm-hmm.
and he really does say that he competed in a Kumite event and that he was a champion of it, and that he had a master Tanaka and all this shit that's in this movie. He says it all. Now,
Hmm.
whether or not the stories are true, that's what's been disputed. And for the most part, a lot of it has turned out to be bullshit when it comes to his stories of his life and the Kumite and all that stuff. However, I do think that he is a real martial artist. I mean, he's older now, but still, I do think he was a real martial artist. I'm not saying he was like a great martial artist. He was probably not that different than a lot of the guys you see in the YouTube videos breaking bricks and shit like that. Like he was a guy who trained martial arts and did fucking martial arts types things. But was he some fucking Bloodsport champion? I don't think so. I wanted to find out if he was completely full of shit, or if he was just sort of full of shit, because that does happen sometimes. I mean, sometimes you do get dudes who are just partially full of shit, but he actually has some skill and can fill some of the claims that he's made. There was a guy that comes to mind. I used to watch this show called Dual Survivor. Have you ever seen it?
No. Mm-mm.
Okay. In that show, it's kind of like a man versus wild, survival show, So what they do, it's called Dual Survivor because they take two survivalist dudes and they plop them into a remote area, and then they follow them around and they show how they're going to survive and how they're going to eventually get rescued and find civilization. And the two guys on the show, they're both dudes who are well versed in wilderness survival and all that shit. One of them though kind of comes from like a earthly sort of hippie kind of lifestyle, you know?
Hmm.
he's at one with Earth and all that bullshit. So he's everything he's learned, it's because he likes living in nature. Whereas the other guy is a military dude, and all of the training that he has was from the military. And he is an outdoorsman, like he's a hunter, so he has, skills from that as well. But so they're two different ideas of how to survive in the wilderness. They put them in an area together, and then they try to find civilization, and they teach you a whole bunch of shit along the way. And it's kind of cool because a lot of times they'll bump heads with each other on how exactly they should go about, tackling whatever problem is in front of them at that particular time. And it's pretty cool just seeing like where they're both coming from. One of the dudes on it, the military guy, I remember he was on for like the first, I want to say like 3 or 4 seasons. And he was pretty good. I liked him. I actually really liked his chemistry with the other dude. The other dude was kind of cool too. But then all of a sudden he disappeared and they brought in some other dude. And this dude, he did not vibe well with the nature guy at all. Like just at all. So like they were always butting heads until eventually that dude got pissed off in an episode because they were just disagreeing over everything. And he ended up he quit. He quit and he wasn't in the next episode. So, but the first dude, I went looking up why he disappeared to begin with. I was like, why the fuck did they get rid of him? And it turns out that whenever I guess he applied for the show, however they go about scouting for who they were going to be on the show, he kind of like embellished his service record and lied about, I guess, some of the stuff that he did in the army. And they found out about it. So he got in trouble and they fired him. He wasn't a complete liar. He was in the army. He just didn't have a lot of the stuffed accolades that he put on his resume. So
Yeah.
he got kind of ousted for that shit. So yeah, so what I found out was Frank Dux is basically a real martial artist who told some not so real stories about himself to build a character. And what's crazy is the dude has been committed and sticking to the story this entire time. Like he still does interviews to this day. He'll still do interviews, and he never falters from his story. Like he is completely dead set on trying to make sure everybody still believes in the legend of fucking Bloodsport and Frank Dux. It's crazy.
He's probably just like laughing on the inside, just trolling everybody. He's probably having a good time with it.
Oh, I'm sure he is, but I also think he's just probably a little fucking nuts.
Yeah, definitely.
Some of the claims that he has made as to what he's been able to do, I went looking into some of them just to see if whether or not the shit was possible. Okay. So like the first thing I looked up was the coin trick. Do you remember the part where he first meets Janice, the reporter, and she's being hounded by those 2 fighters? And he tells them, it's like, hey, let's not fight over her. We're both going to get kicked out of the Kumite. How about we make a bet? Do you gamble? It's like, if I can snatch this coin out of your hand before you close it, the girl comes with me. And then he does the whole fucking snatching the coin out. And not only does he take the coin out of the dude's hand, he replaces it with another one. John, do you think that is real?
So if it's not like, I'm sure it could be real, like a magic trick, like a magician could do it with sleight of hand. But if we're actually talking about like raw speed and no trickery, no, I don't think so.
Okay, so I was looking it up a little bit, and it's a little bit bullshit, but it's also not completely crazy. So like while I'm talking, I want you to go on YouTube and look up the coin swap from Bloodsport. And there's going to be a video of a white dude in a blue shirt sitting down at a wooden table with a couple of other guys, and he's showing it to them. So the way he does it in the video is kind of a magic trick, but it's a real magic. It's a real magic trick. It's not fake, but it is like magic trick type shit. So in that video, he uses this kind of cupping technique with his hand to hold a coin. And it's what magicians do to make it look like they don't have anything in their hands, because they keep their hand open and there's still something tucked into the crease of their hand. And he shows how when he reaches for the coin in the other person's hand, as he reaches, the coin naturally drops from his hand, falling into the other guy's hand, and he reaches down quick and he picks up the other coin and snatches it out. So when the dude closes his hand and then opens it, they've switched the coin. And he even paints one of them black so you can know that it's a different coin. Now, he doesn't necessarily do it in the sense that like, okay, I'm going to do it before you can close your hand, because the whole point of the video was he wanted to show that you could do the coin switch, not necessarily, oh, I could do it faster than you can close your hand. But he does showcase the ability of switching the coin in the hand. And then I saw another video. Did you ever hear that interviewer called The Voice? He was also a commentator for, I want to say One Championship or Dream for a little while. He had like an Australian accent. So there was this guy in the MMA world called The Voice, and he would do interviews, and mostly he would interview like fighters, but sometimes he would interview other people. Like he interviewed Hulk Hogan. It was a pretty cool interview. And then he actually does an interview with Frank Dux. And in that, he mentions the coin thing, and Frank Dux, he offers to show it to him right then and there. So he's like, go ahead, put the coin in your hand, and then you're just going to try to close it before I can get it out. And he does snatch the coin out of his hand faster than he can close it, but he doesn't do the replacing coin trick. He doesn't replace it. He just snatches it out of his hand. So I mean, it was kind of cool, but it wasn't what was in the movie. But if you kind of combine the speed of what he was able to do with the voice, with like the magician trickery of the other guy I'm talking about, it's possible, dude.
Yeah, I see that 100% that it could work. What about that death touch, that exploding brick on the bottom?
The dim mock.
That looks like BS.
The dim mock. Okay, so overall, I think it is bullshit. Overall, it's the way he portrayed it. It's bullshit. However, there are some elements of realism to it. The first element of realism to it that I found was if you go on YouTube, you can actually search Frank Dux dim mock, and it shows a video of him on a live TV show doing the dim mock brick thing. Now, what he does is there's like 2 or 3 bricks, and he hits it, and it does crack just the bottom brick. It doesn't make it explode like it does in the movie, but it does crack just the bottom brick. He does do, like, he puts 2 bricks on top of each other, I think, like one brick and then 2 bricks, but then underneath the bricks, I think he puts what looked to me like some sort of metal plate, and then on top of that, he put another metal plate. So it was 2 bricks sandwiched between what looked to be 2 metal plates, and he hits it, and it breaks the brick on the bottom. So that was like his dim mock or whatever. And then he does all these, there's another video of him doing like a karate demonstration, and it's not the worst video I've ever seen. I mean, it's kind of a cool video. It's similar to a lot of karate demonstrations I've seen online before. He's smashing the shit out of like whiskey bottles, and he's kicking things of, I think there was ice or glass. Oh yeah, he was kicking bottles out of people's hands, and his kicks were pretty solid. He did fall on one of his kicks, but I mean, his kicks were pretty solid overall. Some people were saying that they didn't think the glass was real because he was walking barefoot the whole time and he didn't cut himself. So they think it was maybe like sugar glass. If it was, I don't really like, yeah, whatever. That's cool. He's using sugar glass to make it look like it's real glass. Obviously, that's a little phony, but his kicks were pretty legit. I mean, he threw this one kick. There was one dude holding, I think, like a glass bottle, and then right above that dude's hands, another guy was holding a glass bottle. He does like a super fast front kick to the first one, and then immediately follows up with the question mark kick to the second one, and that was pretty impressive. It was a good kick. So he was demonstrating like all that fast hitting shit. So the dim mock kind of comes from a little bit of that brick breaking trickery, and then also the whole concept of punching so hard into somebody in a certain spot on their body that it can cause death. Because it is kind of possible. There are certain weak points on a person's body that do take more damage, that maybe can stop a heart, or like can fuck up an artery or some shit like that. So like that's like the death touch part of it. But the reason why I don't think it's like super fucking crazy to think that it might be possible to hit a whole bunch of bricks and blow out the bottom one, or at the very least break it, because ultimately, and he says it in a video, like it's just like kinetic energy transfer. So imagine for a second, you do know what those what are they called, the Newton's cradle? Do you know what a Newton's cradle is? It's like the 5 little metal balls that are suspended with wire, and you pick one side up, and when it hits it, it makes the other side bounce, and then it comes back down. You know that?
Yep.
Yeah. So the balls in the middle, they don't move. It's just the balls on the end, because the energy gets transferred from one side to the other. So if you can imagine, let's say you had that little Newton's cradle, but the ball at the very end was a very thin, maybe like light bulb. It wasn't metal. Okay. It's a light bulb. So if you were to take that first one and, you know, pick it up and then drop it, it would probably break the glass at the end.
Yeah.
So I think it's kind of like that.
Okay. Yeah, I can see that. I guess if the bricks in the middle are all stronger, more dense or something, and then the one on the bottom was a little bit weaker.
Exactly.
It caused the bottom one to crack.
I don't know how you would have to hit it in order to accomplish that feat, but I'm not going to say it's complete bullshit, like, oh, myth busted or something like that, because with the way energy works, I mean, it might fucking be possible. Like somebody might be able to do it.
Yeah.
So another claim that he had was the fastest now, and it says this all at the end of the movie, but I'm going to go ahead and just mention it now because we were talking about the coin trick and the Demok, was the fastest. It shows like records at the end of the movie, and it says fastest knockout of 3.2 seconds. That's not completely crazy. I mean, there's been under 5-second knockouts in the UFC.
Yeah.
And they start on opposite ends of the cage. So if these guys started in the center of the ring, you know, it could be possible to do a really fast knockout.
Yeah, I could see that. And probably even like nowadays, like the karate or hard strike, you know, kind of tournaments or kickboxing or something. Someone throws the first kick of the match and knock them out. Yeah.
Boom. Yep. And then and then it says fastest punch with a KO 0.12 seconds. So I guess he threw a punch that from him throwing it to it landing, it was 0.12 of a second. So a tenth of a second. I was watching some videos of people throwing super fast punches, and not a lot of them record it very well, but some of them do. And somebody did get pretty close to that in one of the videos. I think they got to like 0.13 or some shit. So not too crazy. Now these next two, these are where it gets a little fucking nuts. The next one is fastest kick KO with 72 miles an hour. I couldn't quite find a whole lot of videos showcasing a fast kick that they actually measured in miles per hour. I only found one, and somebody had taken a video of Bruce Lee throwing some demonstration kicks, some really fast ones. And I guess by, you know, measuring the distance and you know, the frames of seconds or whatever, they calculated how fast they were, and the fastest kick that he threw was like 40 miles an hour. So 72, that's pretty fucking fast if a Bruce Lee kick is 40 miles an hour. So I don't think that that's real. I think that that's bullshit.
Sounds like it.
And then this is the biggest one, the biggest fucking lie ever, is he says that he has a record for the most consecutive KOs in a single tournament with 56 knockouts.
Yeah.
56 knockouts. So we're supposed to believe that this Kumite event, he was able to have 56 matches before he got first place. John, I did the math on that shit. Okay. So let's say you're in a tournament and you fought 3 times. That's
Yeah.
usually about an 8-man bracket, right?
Mhm.
Okay, so you got your quarterfinals, you got your semifinals, you got your finals. And this is for a single elimination tournament. Okay, because single elimination is the only way that you can do this shit. In order to have 56 matches, not just 3, but 56, the motherfucker would had to have fought. He would have had to have fought in a tournament that had over 72 trillion competitors. If you type in 72 trillion into your calculator and then you just keep dividing it by 2, because
Uh-huh.
first wave of fights, second wave of fights, there you'll get down to 1 after about 56 times.
Yeah.
Yeah. So like that is some major bullshit. And I've apparently he's been questioned with this kind of information before, and he has
Uh,
like the biggest bullshit ways of side dancing around all of it. Like there's always like he has like the weirdest explanations, and it's all bullshit, but he never deviates. He
yeah.
never admits that it's bullshit ever. All right, so the Kumite begins. We see martial artists from all over competing, all with different styles. Ray Jackson tells Frank Dux that's why they call this tournament Bloodsport. Both Ray and Frank win their first sets of matches in dominating fashion. We see Chong Li fight for the first time, learning that he's not only the defending champion, but he's also killed a man in a past tournament. He easily dispatches his opponents. Helmer and Rollins catch up with Frank at his hotel, but he takes them on a fun and hilarious foot chase throughout Hong Kong streets and piers, eventually getting away. Tell me you didn't get fucking super pumped up when you watched the first fight montage and the Fight to Survive song, the Kumite song, was playing.
I cracked a smile. I don't know about pumped up. Uh, so I mean, some of the fights, some of the like when it's like the smaller Asian guys, like their kung fu, karate seem pretty good. You got the Muay Thai guy doing all right, but then yeah, like the other half, they got some pretty stupid moves that they're throwing back and forth at each other. Uh,
Chong Li's pretty clean. I mean, Bolo Yeung, the guy who plays Chong Li, like that dude's a legit, martial artist and whatever it is he trains. So like his moves are all super clean. Uh, he has a nice, dominating, aggressive style in his fights. And then of course you got Ray Jackson, who's just throwing people off of the fucking thing. That's a little bit of a weird way to go out, like it's like, okay, you can knock somebody out, you can make them say mate, or you can do sumo style and just throw somebody off the fucking edge of the ring. That would be a sucky way to lose.
yeah,
I
but yeah, I
do
mean,
I like the
yeah,
Paco guy.
which one's he?
He's the Muay Thai guy, Paco.
Okay, okay, yeah,
Besides Van Damme, he's my favorite character. He's my favorite fighter.
the one who fights dirty.
Yeah, he does fight kind of dirty, and he has like the low kicks and the knees to the body and shit like that.
But I mean, the fight choreography. I mean, I guess for its time, looked good, maybe believable, but I mean, there's too many like cheesy moves, and I don't know, it looks too bad to me.
I fucking love it. I love it. Like I wish fight scenes still took place like this.
But I mean, they're trying to be serious. Like they're not
They're
like
they're not
it'd be one
trying to
thing if it was. It'd be one thing if they're doing it like if it was a movie for like a joke. I don't know, but they're trying to be serious.
they're not trying to be serious. They're trying to be awesome. There's a difference. It's like I don't know. They're not trying to be serious. They're trying to be awesome, and that's why I love it so much. It's just trying to be fucking awesome. So he's showing like all these fucking beautiful badass kicks and some badass technique, which is going to require the guy to kind of just stand there and do nothing and let himself get kicked in the face or something like that. And yes, it's going to look ridiculous, but it's going to be awesome because we get to see this badass slow motion kick or punch to the body or whatever like that knocks him out. It's super fucking fun. And it's just,
It's fun. It is fun to watch. Yeah.
I think it's a better way of telling the story of like this competition. I would prefer it like this than for it to be like a movie about the Kumite and all the fights are displayed more like the Warrior.
Hmm.
Yeah, they're more realistic, but they're not as memorable. They're not as fun. They don't tell the same type of story. It's just this shit is peak 80s right here, bro. And
Mhm.
I wish it never died.
This chase scene with the two cops and Jean-Claude is pretty funny, and
Yes.
I'm sure you've seen the Mentos remake of it. That freaking goes spot on with his
Dude, it's
commercial.
so good. The Mentos commercial, that shit's so good. Here's another reason why this movie is so awesome. John, when's the last time you watched UFC 1 or 1 through 3 or 1 through 5?
Yeah, like the early first 10 of them.
Yeah.
I watched them probably like maybe like 7, 8, 9, 10 years ago. Yeah.
Yeah. Dude, it's fucking crazy how when you're watching those old school UFCs that it's almost literally like the real life version of Bloodsport.
Yeah.
Like just
Uh,
literally somebody watched this movie and they just said, I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna make the Kumite, I'm gonna make Bloodsport, and I'm gonna insert myself into it, which is what the Gracies ended up doing.
mhm,
Like the concept was exactly the same. The fights, they were definitely like messier, but they were just as exciting because they were so fucking crazy.
mhm.
And dude, it's nuts how quickly martial arts evolved because of that first event. It like, changed the world of martial arts forever. That's one of the reasons that we're led to believe that I'm led to believe that the Kumite didn't exist. I mean, if it was real, then we would have gotten answers then as to what was really working in the world of martial arts, but we didn't. But then again,
Maybe. I mean,
it was supposed to be underground, I guess.
yeah. I was about to say. I mean, no one's recording anything. Back in that day, it was all on not much digital transfer of information going around. But I mean, I'm pretty sure there were some tournaments similar to that. I think, and it might be a little bit before the UFC started, but probably in like Saudi Arabia. Just because I watched another movie where they had like an invite only private tournament between like fighting styles that was supposed to be set like right before the UFC kicked off. So I mean, I don't think it's too far to think that there were some underground tournaments that invited people from around the world for their fighting styles.
Okay, is that was that a true is that like a real story, like a real event,
It,
the Saudi
a
Arabia thing?
little, yeah, I think it was based on loosely based on some events. I didn't really look into it too far.
Okay, but John, it's kind of crazy when you think about it, because like Hoist Gracie is almost basically like the real life Frank Dukes when you think about it. I mean,
Yeah.
he entered the first UFC to honor his family, to honor Helio Gracie, his Shidoshi.
Uh huh.
And he went out there and he fought against a whole bunch of different styles. And he won like 3 UFCs. And he would have won 4, but he got hurt and had to pull out of one of them.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, definitely. Pretty much is Frank Dukes there, and like how this movie kind of inspired the UFC. I was also noticing. I'm sure you noticed at the end when they fight on the platform how they raised it up.
Yes.
That's kind of like the karate combat fighting in the pit, and then I wonder if
Yeah. Yeah, dude,
I wonder if you got.
there's even a real MMA event. I don't know if it's MMA or if it's kickboxing or whatever. I want to say MMA, but there's a real MMA event out there somewhere called the Kumite, or I think they call it the Kumite, not Bloodsport. And they have that ring. They have that raised edge platform, just like in this movie. And the whole point is they're basically copying the movie. Now, I don't
Mhm,
know if it's still going on or if it's like gone bankrupt or whatever like that, but it's a real
mhm.
thing. Like it's on YouTube. You can find it. It's pretty crazy. All right. So Frank Dukes gets to sleep with Janice, and we get to see Van Damme's infamous butt shot in the movie. Day 2 of the tournament starts. Janice manages to trick her way into the event. She's shocked by how brutal it is. Van Damme and Jackson win their first series of matches. Jackson then gets matched up with Chong Li. Jackson starts off very well in the match, but then drops his guard, and Chong Li ends up brutally knocking out Jackson, putting him into a coma. Frank takes him to the hospital and vows revenge on Chong Li. Janice argues with Frank, telling him that it's too dangerous, and storms off, saying that she's not going to watch it. Janice goes to the Hong Kong police to try to stop the Kumite from happening, who end up contacting Helmer and Rollins. Frank has an amazing montage on the bus thinking about all the battles ahead of him. So it's in this second day of the tournament that we get to see the infamous dick punch against that big motherfucker,
Yeah.
which lives on forever in Mortal Kombat history. And I don't even,
Mm.
it kind of breaks my heart to know that there are people out there who, when they see the dick punch, they think that it originated in Mortal Kombat and don't even understand that it came from Bloodsport. That's bullshit.
Youngins.
My favorite fighter in the Kumite, besides Van Damme, is definitely Paco, the Muay Thai fighter. And what's badass is I went and looked up a little bit about that guy, and
Hmm.
he's a real martial artist in real life, and he does train Muay Thai. I don't know if he still trains because he's older now, but he's a real Muay Thai fighter. He did real Muay Thai events. I think he won a few. I think he probably won a few competitions. But yeah, I think it's awesome that that specific character makes it to the semifinals because that was my favorite fighter outside of, Chong Li and Van Damme.
Hmm. Yeah, it's cool that they get that as probably as got they got as many real martial artists as they could from the different backgrounds.
Dude, you know that scene when he's fighting Paco? Van Damme's character is fighting Paco and they do the kicking to the body. They trade off kicks to the body, back and
Hmm.
forth, back and forth. That reminded me a lot of. I saw a video recently. Have you ever watched that low kick championship shit?
I'm thinking the exact same thing.
It's
Yeah,
crazy, yeah.
like kick back and forth. Hmm.
Yeah. So it's like the leg kick version of slap fighting. So you get two guys standing and they have to put their foot in a colored area and they can't move their leg from that area and they have to take leg kicks, full powered fucking leg kicks to the thigh, back and forth until somebody quits. And there is a video out there and it's labeled Muay Thai versus Karate low kick championship. And it's pretty cool seeing like the slightly different variation of kicks thrown between the Muay Thai guy and the karate guy. Like the Muay Thai guy, when he throws his kick, he kind of lifts up his knee and like turns his hips and he drops his shin at a downward diagonal angle towards the leg. And that's how you throw like a Muay Thai leg kick. Whereas the karate guy, his leg when he throws it, it's kind of straight. He doesn't really like lift the knee and then drop it hard. It's kind of straight and he kind of comes up from an upward diagonal angle hitting the leg. Like he's swinging a bat or something. And
Hmm.
it's pretty cool watching the different styles that they were taught and they're sitting there fucking going blow for blow. And in that particular video, the karate guy ended up winning.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. Dude, Janice is a little bitch, John.
Yeah, she's a hoe. Hoe
Dude,
faux show.
John, do you think your wife Kelly would narc on you if you wanted to fight in the Kumite and she hated the idea? Would she go to the police and try to stop it?
uh, Let me see. Maybe she might. I don't know. I mean, she thinks, I guess, to be for my own safety. She might, but I mean, Janice freaking knew Frank Dukes for a day and wanted to go, I guess, and then go to the cops and tell on him.
That's such
Yeah.
bullshit. It's like he's a grown ass fucking man. You don't go and like just take his dream away from him like that. But yeah, that like, oh God, I hated her when she narked on him. And then she has the audacity to come to the fight and cheer him on afterwards. It's like, you stupid bitch. And Van Damme's like winking at her, happy that she's there. It's like, dude, she narked on you, bro. Go kill her right now.
That, and I was wondering how her and the two cops came in on that. I think the third day, like they just like let them in, walked in on this like supposed to be underground private
Right?
thing.
That's a good fucking question. How the hell did they get in?
Uh huh.
I guess they flashed their badges or something, or maybe the Hong Kong police let them in. But what the fuck is Janice doing there?
Hmm.
Janice is just part of the police force now? Makes no sense. Dude, I would love to fucking get a red and black gi with the same symbols as Jean-Claude Van Damme's gi in this
Uh
movie.
huh.
Dude, I would love to have a jiu-jitsu gi that looked like that. It'd be so fucking cool. I want to get a jiu-jitsu gi that looks like that, and I want to get a jiu-jitsu gi that looks like the white rising sun type gi that George St. Pierre had when he would fight in
Okay.
the UFC.
Yeah,
Those
that one I'm sure you could probably find.
think it's out there. I think one of them is out there. I forget which one's out there, but the one that I wanted that I've seen him wear, I had trouble finding it. I
Mm.
think the Bloodsport gi might be out there, but that was a while back when I saw it.
Look that up real quick.
I need to just fucking make it myself, like a goddamn ninja.
Yeah, actually, yeah, they have a Bloodsport sponsored one. It says Kumite on it and everything.
That's what I need in my life.
Hmm.
Hell yeah. And I'm going to start wearing that fucking gold yellow sash from now on. Whenever I'm at the gym, I'm going to get rid of my black belt and I'm going to fucking put on a golden yellow sash because I'm tired of living my life not as Jean-Claude Van Damme in Bloodsport. All right, so Helmer and Rollins, they try one last time to stop Frank unsuccessfully. Frank tells them he'll meet them at the airport in 2 days. Day 3 of the event begins. It's down to the final 4. Helmer, Rollins, and Janice are all in the crowd watching. Van Damme beats his first opponent, Paco, in an impressive fight. Chong Li not only defeats his first opponent, he ends the fight by killing him. Everyone in the building turns their back on Chong Li in shame. Then we get to the final epic fight between Frank Dux and Chong Li. The fight starts off in Frank's favor, but during the match, Chong Li cheats by throwing powder into Frank's eyes, blinding him. Frank panics at first, but then he calms himself and he harks back to his training in which he learned to fight blindfolded. Then, as the battle continues, Frank's technique is flawless and his senses are sharp. And without being able to see, he defeats Chong Li by making him say Mate, which is their way of tapping out and saying uncle. Frank becomes the new Kumite champion, honoring Tanaka. He says his heartfelt goodbyes to Jackson, who has recovered in the hospital. He boards a plane with Helmer and Rollins, and he bows goodbye to Janice as she watches him leave. John, what'd you think of the final fight scene?
I don't think it was the best in the movie. I think as far as like just the back and forth action, but I don't know. I think it was kind of forgettable. I don't know. I can't remember much
John,
about it right now. I just saw it yesterday. I'm trying to think like what move they did besides him blinding him with his dick powder. I don't know what happened.
dude, John, the most important part of the fight was that he screamed and made a baby noise, and then he put his hands up, and then he closed his eyes, and he had a fucking flashback about all of his training right there in the middle of a live ass fight while Chong Li was circling him like a fucking shark. That was the greatest thing ever in any fight movie ever made, John. And it's the most realistic thing they could have stuck in this movie. Because there have been plenty of times where I'm in the middle of a jiu-jitsu match and just all of a sudden in that jiu-jitsu match, I close my eyes and I just think about all the training that I've ever gone through in my life for about an hour. And then I come back and I just whoop the dude's ass.
I mean, was it realistic? Yes. I mean, but was it? Do I remember the highlights? No. I mean, I guess it was all right, I guess. It's about to come up again. I'll have to take a closer look, punch by punch, but I don't think it was a great fight.
You can't say things like that, John. It was great. Okay. You know what sucks is even though I know that the Kumite probably isn't real and all of Frank Dux' stories are probably dog shit, I still want to believe that it's real. Like I really do. I'm like fucking Fox Mulder in X-Files. I want to believe. And I know it's all probably fabricated bullshit, but man, it's such an amazing story. And it's a story that honestly isn't that far-fetched because fighting is a real thing. Guys compete in martial arts. The UFC did exist and it brought forth a lot of different competitors from a lot of different aspects of fighting. And it showed us that something like this was indeed possible. It just probably didn't happen back when Frank Dux said it did.
I mean, I get it for you, like, want to believe it's real and everything. I can see that. I mean, I got stuff like that I liked growing up. Like one thing I think of is like Dragon Ball Z. You know, I watch a lot of anime. Like, I know it's fake and everything, but you know, after you watch like 600 episodes of it, it's kind of hard not to find yourself like trying to charge up a Kamehameha and like think it's about to happen. I know I've heard that from other people too, so it's not just me. But This
Yeah.
movie was not it for me.
I can't believe you would
Uh,
even say something like that, John. That's ridiculous that those words would even come out of your mouth right now. Just saying that kind of stuff.
Maybe if I saw it when I was 8 years old, I might have done it. But I guess
John,
as an adult watching it, I just knew.
okay, but now as an adult, having done martial arts for almost 2 decades, it hasn't strengthened your connection with this movie, one of the greatest martial arts movies ever.
I mean, it's definitely allowed me to watch it a couple times. I enjoyed watching it. It's fun to watch, but it's fun as like there's a lot of more of like a funny joke than like a serious champion taking over,
You
winning
know,
the tournament story.
it's funny because it is a joke, but yet it is it's a very real thing, the connection with a lot of fighters that are 30 and older
Hmm.
that they have with this movie. So, just right off the top of my head, I'm pretty fucking sure that GSP is like he loves this movie and like it probably helped inspire him to become a martial artist overall when he was a kid. Uriah Hall, like he says the same thing, Van Damme, made me want to become a martial artist. Scott Adkins, that actor who does a lot of B class martial arts movies,
Hmm.
that dude, same thing, Bloodsport made me want to become a martial artist, and then martial arts eventually got him into acting. He basically wanted to be the next Jean-Claude Van Damme. He is not Jean-Claude Van Damme, by the way. I don't care how good his fight scenes are. He doesn't hold a candle to Jean-Claude Van Damme, and he never will.
Who's that guy?
Scott
Who's that guy?
Adkins. Scott Adkins. Look him up. So he's come out in a fuckload of B class movies. Like he took over the Undisputed franchise. Undisputed was a basic ass boxing movie in prison with Wesley Snipes and Vin Rames back in the day, and then it turned into something completely crazy. And he ended up taking it over with his character named Boyka. And he's got some crazy fight scenes. He's definitely like an athletic, sharp individual who can do some crazy ass kicks, but he ain't no fucking Van Damme. And his fight scenes don't tell the same story as Van Damme. Okay, they just don't. Like, fuck that dude. And I think the most popular movie he came out in, he had a small role in the Expendables. Hey, you know what I saw yesterday that he came out in?
Huh.
Did you see that new Netflix movie, The Rip?
East. Yes, yeah, yeah. With the drugs, yeah.
The
Uh huh.
drug the
I saw
drug
that.
the drug money?
Uh huh. Uh huh.
Yeah, I watched it last night. He comes in that he plays Ben Affleck's brother,
Okay.
the
Cool. Cool.
the FBI agent.
I see that. I see he was in John Wick 4, IP Man 4.
Yeah, I mean, he's come out in a shitload of martial arts movies, but none of them are as good as fucking Bloodsport. And you know what? John Wick 4 ain't as good as Bloodsport either. John Wick 1 might be as good as Bloodsport, but Part 4 ain't fucking as good. And if it was as good, it wasn't because of Scott Adkins. I'll tell you that right now.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Fuck Scott Adkins. No, I don't hate him. I just like he just sucks, man. He's just not he's a crappy actor.
It looks like he was in a movie with Jean Claude.
Oh, I wouldn't be surprised. I think he came out in. Did he come out in the same Expendables as Jean-Claude Van Damme? He might have come
It
out.
says it's the first Expendables, so no.
No, shit. Okay. Yeah, Van Damme didn't come out until I think the third Expendables. I don't remember. Those movies are actually not my favorite.
Yeah.
John, if this movie didn't inspire you to get into martial arts, what did? Was it Dragon Ball Z?
Uh, Probably anime, that and I mean pro wrestling as
Hell
a
yeah.
kid.
Hell
I
yeah.
liked that a lot. So that was probably what made me want to like do more something like a wrestling
Dude,
base.
dude, that's good because pro wrestling, that's as real as it gets too. I don't care what anybody says.
100%.
When I was a kid, I was I think the first thing that made me want like martial arts, and I used to fucking have these long elaborate pretend fight scenes in my mom's room because she had a really big room and there was a lot of room for me to like do spin kicks and fucking all kinds of like jump kicks and fight scenes and fight imaginary bad guys. Like I would have straight up fucking movie battles in her room. I'd picture bad guys and a whole storyline and like a girl to save or some shit like that, and I'd just be whooping ass. uh I think early it was Ninja Turtles and Power Rangers. that first made me start wanting to fucking do shit like that. And then eventually it was Jean-Claude Van Damme movies. A little bit of Steven Seagal. Okay. I do like a little bit of Steven Seagal, but Van Damme was always way more fun to watch. And it's just been
Yeah.
fucking, dude, he's just been the man ever since. Like, I would I wouldn't boast so much about how awesome he was and his movies if somebody else came along and showed us how to do it better. But you know what? Nobody has, John. Nobody has.
Uh, I like some of his newer movies. I mean, let's see.
I don't watch a whole lot of his newer movies. I mean, yeah, I saw the Expendables that he was in, and that was like whatever. I
Yeah.
think, yeah, like I mean, oh, I saw the last thing I saw with him in it was he did an Amazon exclusive show called Jean-Claude Van Johnson, which was actually kind of badass. Did you ever watch it?
No, I remember you talking about it. I need to find that.
It was super fucking random, a little crazy and weird, but it was so fucking cool. Like he plays himself, Jean-Claude Van Damme, a very funny version of himself. Like he makes a lot of jokes about himself. He's not afraid to like poke fun of himself, but in the movie he plays Jean-Claude Van Damme, retired actor who's now making B movies, but in his past he was a CIA agent and his cover was making movies. So all the movies that we saw him in, he was actually on location doing CIA operations. That's what the storyline is in the show. And then something happens to where he like gets sucked back into a mission and they reinstate him, even though like, you know, they didn't want him, but like something happens and they just need his help or some shit. And the whole show is him doing missions as Jean-Claude Van Damme and trying to kind of get back into the groove of things and learn and remembering how to fight for real. And dude, there's some really fucking funny moments in the movie, some really good moments in the movie. It was a badass show, and it ended on this crazy sci-fi cliffhanger, so that there could be a season 2, but it never happened.
I need to check it out. It sounds good.
It was way better than fucking Arnold's show. What was it? Fubar.
Uh-huh.
Dude, did you ever
I
see?
didn't watch that. No.
I think they had 2 seasons. I saw the first season. It was a big sack of whatever. Like it was like whatever. Like I was kind of happy just to see Arnold on screen, but outside of that, it wasn't good.
I think this or his earliest movie that I remember him in is Street Fighter.
Really?
Looking at yeah.
That was like right
Yeah, I
in
don't,
that was like at the peak of his career, like that, because that was like early to mid 90s, I think.
yeah, 94,
Yeah.
94.
Yeah, so that was like at the peak of his career because he was doing more high budget shit at that point. So he was doing Time Cop, Universal Soldier. He made a movie called Maximum Risk that I really liked. He did a movie called Hard Target that's pretty damn good.
Yeah, I remember Universal Soldier. I like those. I like that movie.
Universal Soldier, I would say overall, objectively speaking, is probably his best movie. It's a fucking badass movie. But Time Cop is pretty good. Hard Target's pretty good. Of course, you got Bloodsport and Kickboxer, which are both cool. The Quest is okay. It's kind of like a shittier version of Bloodsport, but it's still fun to watch. Double Impact, where he has a twin.
What about Double Team?
Double
Dennis
Team
Rodman.
with Dennis Rodman. I did not watch that. Well, I think I did watch it, but I don't remember anything about it. And I don't think it was a good one. But I think Mickey Rourke comes out in it when he didn't look like a melted fucking potato. And I think he was a pretty decent bad guy or something at the end. I don't know. He made a movie with Rob Schneider called Knockoff. That was actually a pretty fun movie. But these are all old. I don't really watch a
Yeah.
whole lot of his new shit. Like a lot of it was just straight to DVD garbage. I don't even know if you can call it straight to DVD anymore nowadays. What do you like? What's the proper term for straight to
Oh,
DVD? Because
straight to streaming. It'd be something like that.
yeah,
Streaming. Yeah.
I don't even know if that fits right. It's so muddled now.
Mhm.
The world was so simpler then. Such simpler times back then.
I got a question. So, who do we give the worst actor award to in this movie?
In this movie,
Yes.
the worst actor award is definitely not going to go to Ray Jackson because he was superb.
Which one was he?
Ray Jackson, the big white guy that he
Oh,
befriends.
okay, okay. He had a couple funny lines. I didn't give it to him.
Yeah.
Uh,
Um,
I gave it to the guy who was trying to sleep with the reporter in the bar.
okay. You lose, American asshole, or something
Yeah,
like that. Yeah.
yeah. That was the worst,
Yeah.
cringiest lines for me.
That guy was pretty bad. It's kind of I don't want to be too harsh on these actors in the movie, especially if they're Chinese actors or Asian
Yeah.
actors, because English is probably not their first language. They
Hmm.
might even be getting dubbed over. I'm not sure. Like Hong Kong movies, it was always kind of standard practice to dub over voices. I read somewhere that the reason that they would do that every time you would watch a Hong Kong movie and they would dub over it, was because apparently filming in Hong Kong, like the city is so loud that the only way for them to get the city noise out of the movie's recording was to just dub over. I don't know how true that is for every movie filmed in Hong Kong, but that's what I heard. But yeah, like I mean, they're foreign actors. They're Hong Kong. I don't know how many movies they've been in, how good they are. So like, and then English isn't their first language and all that bullshit. So I mean, shit. When you listen to Chong Li talk, it's definitely like the whole time I'm like,
Yeah,
is that even his real fucking voice? You don't even
yeah.
know.
I had to turn on subtitles for some of it for his two lines in the movie.
Yeah,
I wanted to
exactly.
make sure I was getting it right.
But
Um,
he has such badass body movements and facial expressions that he doesn't really need to talk. Chong Li has kind of always been like that in his movies. He's just fucking just a scary ass, buff ass, big chested Asian, and he's just so fucking cool. So he makes it work.
yeah, he
I'm
does it pretty good with his. We're watching the scene right now where he just killed the guy, and we see him breathing on the ground, even though he's supposed to be dead. But yeah, his celebratory dance, it's good. His face, his actions. I didn't like the last move he did where he did an elbow drop to his opponent, but it's whatever.
um I'm gonna give it to I'll give it to either. Yeah, that guy that was hitting on Janice, that guy was pretty bad. I also think Janice herself was not that good of an actress.
Yeah.
And then that little Asian dude, Lin, the one that was their guide,
Hmm.
he wasn't that good either. It's crazy that Forrest Whitaker comes out in this movie.
He was going to get the next award for the best actor. He had a few lines that were like getting ready to like go off in like actual like good acting schools, but they his other cop cut him off. But yeah, he was the best actor in the movie.
Okay. He definitely has probably like the biggest accolades overall as far as acting chops. Okay, so now, before we get to the rating part of the movie, John, would you say that this movie still holds up today, or do you think it never held up?
Mm, it's entertaining. I enjoyed watching it, but as a martial artist, like a martial arts movie, no, it's too dated. Uh, we're never gonna go back to a martial arts movie like this
And
because
that's why the
it's
world is in the shithole that it's in, John. Okay. The world needs to go back to martial arts movies like this. Okay. These movies were the fucking pinnacle of martial arts cinema. And all the shit that we do now doesn't hold a candle to this shit. They can do all the fancy quick cut fight scenes they want and broken bones and fucking, like stabbing people through the face while they're murdering them, John Wick style, and shooting them in the head. Okay. They can do all that stuff they want. But I would trade all that in for a fucking spinning split kick. I'm gonna tell you that right now.
yeah, yeah. I don't know what to say. It's fun to watch, but it feels dated, and it ain't gonna be making a comeback anytime soon.
Okay, all right. Answer this. I know they're not exactly the same movie, but it's not a completely different comparison. What's the last few boxing movies that you watched?
The Creed, the most recent Creed movies.
Okay, you saw Creed. What about The Fighter? Did you ever see The Fighter with Mark
Okay.
Mark Wahlberg?
Yes, 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 yes.
Cool. Did you ever see that one movie that Ryan Gosling, not Ryan Gosling, fucking
Yeah, it was Conor McGregor, Roadhouse.
no, that like
No.
the guy in that movie. What's his name? What's the other guy's name?
Jake Gyllenhaal.
Jake Gyllenhaal. He made a boxing
Yes.
movie. I think it was called Southpaw.
Southpaw.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you ever see that?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Do you prefer the boxing matches in those movies or the boxing matches in the original Rockies? Let's take the Clubber Lang fight
Um,
or the fucking fight with him and Ivan Drago. Or even the
yeah.
first movie, you want to go first movie.
Okay, the fighter with Christian Bale.
Christian Bale, Mark Wahlberg. Mark Wahlberg was the
Yeah.
one in the ring.
I mean, I like the fighter more. So I think I like the fighting more in that too.
I don't I don't understand how you can say things like this and not be completely lying, John. Like it's insane.
I mean, I would need to like watch them back to back, like the fighting scenes, and see what I like more. But I mean, just right now, I'm thinking I would say I like the fighter as a better movie. I mean, the acting. I mean, I just like it was just overall better movie.
Whoa, whoa, whoa. The acting was not better than Rocky. Okay. They definitely tried to act more dramatic, but that doesn't mean
uh,
that they succeeded in acting better. Rocky was amazing. Okay. Everybody in that goddamn movie was comical and funny and also, you know, serious when they needed to be, and they felt more like real people. Okay. Not these fucking dank, depressing worlds that the fighter and Southpaw live in, where, you know, they're just all depressed all the fucking time and they have to dig their way out of these depressions and stuff like that. It's like, you know what? Rocky had it hard too. You didn't see him crying like a little bitch all the time and being sad and crying in the mirror and looking at himself and wanting to give up on life.
I mean, Rocky probably is. I mean, definitely inspired more people. So I would say it's a more inspirational movie. Uh, but I mean, yeah, if I'm going to pick one that I enjoyed watching more, it's going to be The Fighter.
See, and that's where we differ because I prefer watching the fighting in Rocky more. And the reason being is, see how I can put this. I was watching a video one time where a boxer, he was rating boxing scenes in
Uh-huh.
movies, right? You know, so he would rate them as to how realistic they were. And of course, he went through some of the Rocky movies. And when he went through the Rocky movies, yes, he would say, it's like, yeah, like the fighting is very unrealistic. Like we don't fight like that. Like, you know, it's just
Mhm.
it's crazy. It's come a long way since then. But then he would also say that it was very inspiring, very awesome to watch, very entertaining, and probably overall his favorite boxing movie. And it's like, you know, there's no boxer who doesn't watch the Rocky movies. So it's like when I'm watching those movies, I like to equate it to pro wrestling. Okay. So a lot of people
Mhm.
don't understand pro wrestling as far as what they're trying to achieve in the ring. Okay. A lot of people just look at it, it's like, oh, it's fake fighting. It's like, it's dumb. And it's like, I don't get it. It's like, yeah, it is fake fighting, but the whole thing that separates a good pro wrestler from a shitty pro wrestler or a mediocre pro wrestler is when you're in the ring, it's not about how clean or realistic your moves look. That's I mean, yeah, that's nice, but it's not really about that.
Mhm.
It's it's how you do the moves in the ring with the other guy and what kind of story you tell. So,
Mhm.
you know, basically it always boils down to, you know, like good guy overcoming the odds and beating up the bad guy. So a lot of times they're going to have the bad guy stomping a mud hole and the good guy maybe doing a few cheaty things to get him down, and then the good guy has to somehow prevail. And, you know, like if it's the last match in a series, they're going to have the good guy win. But if it's like the first match, they might have the bad guy win because then we get to get the rematch. So then we get, you know, another pay-per-view or whatever. But there's a story being told in the ring, and you want to see like a struggle. You want to see a kind of a comeback story. You want to see some real fucking crazy dramatic shit happening. You want to be able to feel whatever it is the fighters are feeling. It's not just about the moves, which is why I don't really always like enjoying. I don't really enjoy watching kung fu movies because
Mhm.
while they're sitting there throwing a million kicks and a million punches, a million miles an hour, the story that's being told, I don't really care about it. I don't really care about. There's not a big difference between the two characters on screen in the way they're fighting. It's just a million punches, a lot of fancy technique, and then finally somebody gets knocked out. But then, like, if you bring up, let's say, the fight scene at end of Universal Soldier. You get Jean-Claude Van Damme and Dolph Lundgren fighting at the end. And Dolph Lundgren comes in and he starts putting the fucking whooping on Van Damme. Van Damme
Mm-hmm.
fights back, gives a few good shots, but overall he's getting fucking outmatched, outclassed by Dolph Lundgren, because then all of a sudden he opens up his vest and he sees that he's been injecting himself with the strength serum that makes them stronger. He's whooping his ass. He's throwing him through fucking barn doors and shit like that. And then something happens to where Van Damme manages to take one of those syringes, boom, stabs it into himself. And then now he's on par with fucking Dolph Lundgren. And then he starts making the comeback, right? And there's fire in the background and there's rain all around and he's fucking running at him in slow motion and doing some badass kicks to the face and all that shit. And then he fucking kicks him and he impales him on some fucking farm equipment with big ass spikes. I forgot what that thing is called, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then he thinks that he's dead, but he's not really dead. He goes in and then he grabs him one last time and he's trying to pull Van Damme's head into the spike. And then he manages to like break his arm and then turn on the fucking wood chipper or whatever it was. And then says some clever line. So it's like it's a story being told, John. And
Yeah.
Van Damme was always really, really good at it. And I think Rocky was better at it than a lot of the newer movies. So that's why I like it better, even though the technique might be a little ridiculous at times.
Yeah, I mean, it does. I mean, it's a good, like, they fall behind, come back, fight back. I mean, it's good, but I guess I don't know. I think they can do the same thing with like better technique, and I guess I just like it when it's like more gritty than like the big roundhouse kick or something. I don't know.
Yeah. You know, I will a movie that comes to mind that I think did it well, told a story really well, and had more updated technique. It wasn't a martial arts movie, but it was a boxing movie. Did you ever see Cinderella Man?
Yeah, with
Russell Crowe?
Gladiator.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't remember too much, but I remember liking it. Yeah.
I love Cinderella Man. I fucking love Cinderella Man. Outside of the Rocky movies, that's probably my favorite boxing movie is Cinderella
Hmm.
Man. And it's a really good fucking movie. And not only that, the very last fight tells a really again, it tells a really badass story as far as like how the fight goes down. It's not just a boxing match. There's definitely a battle going on in the ring. So like you go into the match knowing that the other guy is dangerous and that he's killed two people in the past in fights. And Cinderella Man is a complete underdog, older, has arthritis and all that shit. And like he's a complete underdog, kind of like Rocky, right? And then they start having their fight and he's actually outclassing the dude. But the notion is that in the beginning of this dude's fight, the guy he's fighting, I think his name was Max Baer, he likes to clown around. He clowns around in his first few rounds because he just likes to just show to the crowd. And then all of a sudden he stands up at his corner. He's looking at him all fucking serious, like tilting his head and shit. And then all of a sudden you get this sense that holy shit, he's about to get serious. And then right when the fucking thing goes off to start the round, he almost runs at him and he fucking loads up big time to throw a big ass hammer shot. And Russell Crowe's character is ducking and dodging and trying not to get hit by these big power shots. He is getting hit a little bit, but he is coming back with better technique, so he's mixing it up. He's keeping it overall on an even peel. He's winning the fight overall. And then all of a sudden, boom, he hits him with a big ass shot that knocks him down. And he starts like having flashbacks of his family struggling because it's taking place during the Great Depression. And he kind of flashes back to a tape that he had watched of one of that dude's fights and how he kind of hit the dude into the ropes the same way that Russell Crowe's character just got hit into the ropes. So he knew what he was about to do. So as he's coming to wind up and hit him from the side, he manages to duck under because he knew it was coming. Boom, comes back. And then like, it's just really badass. It's a really well designed fight scene that they did. And the boxing is more realistic. So that right there was a good blend. I just can't really think of any martial arts movies that have done the same thing. Whether it's like an actual movie about martial arts, like a fucking Ong Bak or something, or if it's
Mhm.
a an action movie that has martial arts in it, like Jason Statham movies or some shit. But
Yeah.
I just can't think of any movie that has a really badass fight scene at the end and also tells a really good story at the same time. But there are some good fight scenes nowadays that I do like, just not a whole lot of them. Like I really like the fight scene with fucking Captain America and Winter Soldier. That was a really
Hmm.
fucking clean ass fight scene,
Yeah.
and neither of
I
those
mean, like
guys were
what
martial artists.
I mean, what about like the Warrior? I like that movie. Tom Hardy, the war vet coming into a UFC fight. The final fight, he fights his brother. He gets his arm dislocated, but he's still trying to come at his brother. His brother has to like put him down, put him to
Yeah,
sleep.
that wasn't too bad. I kind of just didn't really like that movie overall. I thought the story was just a little whatever. I didn't really like Tom Hardy's character. I didn't really care about the other guy's character. And yeah, the story they had going on in the fight, like the struggle between the two brothers, was pretty interesting. It's just they were trying so hard to make sure that the fighting was like as realistic as possible. And I think it, I think they should have just tried to make it like a little bit more exciting. It was okay. It's an okay movie. That's about as good as we're gonna get for an MMA movie.
Yeah, I think the MMA movies are pretty hard, but I think I like that one kind of a lot. That was pretty good.
It's not as good as Bloodsport, I'll tell you that right now, John.
I would definitely rate it much higher than Bloodsport.
You would be the only one who rated it higher than Bloodsport, John.
uh, Kelly was watching a little bit of this movie, or she watched probably about three-quarters of it with me, and I asked her if she was going to rate it 1 through 10 based on what she saw. She gave it a 2.
She's just being a hater, okay? You probably just didn't show her the version that had Van Damme's butt in it. If she had seen Van Damme's butt, it would have been a different story. It would have been like a fucking 8.
That's probably right.
Okay, now is the time where we rate the movie ourselves. The formula is always going to be the same. 2 judges, 5 judging criterias. Me and my co-host are going to rate the movie 1 out of 10 across 5 different criterias. If I'm hosting the show myself, then my AI assistant Skynet will be my second judge. When we're done throwing out all of the scores, we'll add them all together, divide by 10, and bam, that'll be the movie's official movie buff rating. The 5 different judging criterias are as follows. First, the Pulitzer criteria. This score refers to the quality of the movie's story, plain and simple. Then, the Shakespeare criteria. This refers to how good the acting is in the movie. The Scorpion criteria. This has to do with how well a movie hooks you and pulls you in. Does it keep you engaged? The Encore criteria, one of the most important criterias of all. This refers to a movie's replay value. Just how rewatchable is it? And the most important of all, the Highlander criteria. This refers to the movie's ability and probability to live on forever. Will this movie be remembered in 10 years? Will people be quoting it in 20 years? Will people still be rewatching it 40 years later?
Okay, John, the Pulitzer criteria. This refers to the quality of the movie's story. 1 out of 10. What would you give it?
3. So I mean, just the underground tournament can be somewhat believable. I don't think the police and the reporter in there made. I mean, I don't think they were too. I don't think they were too believable chasing them after him in the city, then watching them and being all buddy buddy. I'm gonna give it a 6.
Nice. I'm actually going to give it a 5. I think
Nice.
that it's average. It is an average story overall. It's a fun movie for sure,
Hmm. Hmm.
but not because the story is super, super badass. It's just a fucking fun ass movie. It's got a lot of fun characters in it. But the
Yeah.
overall story, solid average. The Shakespeare criteria, referring to the quality of the acting in the movie.
So that's probably gonna be like I think gonna be my lowest score for this one because there were definitely some cringe-worthy moments, but there were a few good, some stuff that made me laugh. But I can't remember a movie that was so much, so much. I would say so much bad acting in it. Jean Claude wasn't too bad. This looks like maybe was one of his first movies that he made.
It's pretty early.
Yeah. Um,
It's not his
I'm
first, but it's
gonna
pretty
get.
early.
Yeah, I'm gonna give it. I'm gonna give it a 5.
That's actually better than what I'm gonna give it. Like
Okay.
overall,
I
I
didn't want
think
to be too
don't be
mean about
afraid.
it.
Yeah, don't be afraid to be too mean, John. Okay, like you gotta tell the truth. Okay, I told you I'm a professional movie reviewer. I am objective. I'm gonna give it a 4
Yeah.
because it is. I wrote down my 1 through 10, and in my head, I wanted to kind of have an idea of what every number meant. Right. So 10 means perfection, absolute
Mm-hmm.
perfection. 9, damn near perfection. 8, very good. 7, pretty good. 6, one step above whatever. 5, average, fair, whatever. 4, kind of poopy. 3, dog shit. 2, a box full of human feces. And 1, a huge sack of fermented hog shit.
I mean,
So
yeah, going off of that, I would say more of a 4 for me.
now you don't have to use my uh like my measurement, how I
Uh-huh.
look at it. Okay. But this is just what I wrote for myself so that it makes it easier for me to look and it's like, okay, I put it here.
Yeah.
The scorpion criteria. This refers to the movie's ability to hook you and suck you in.
It was an easy movie to watch. It was fun. I'll give it a 7.
Nice. I'm going to go 7.5. The encore criteria refers to the movie's replay value, its rewatchability. What would you give it?
For me, I don't need to rewatch it anytime soon. I'll probably give it a 6.
I'm going to give it another 7.5. I think it is very rewatchable. And last but not least, the Highlander criteria. This refers to the movie's ability and probability to live on forever.
That's definitely its strength. So I would say probably 8.5.
Nice. That's almost exactly what I was going to say. I was going to say 8.5, but I was like, no, maybe I should go 8. And I was like, you know what? I'll split the difference and I'll do 8.2.
Dang. I think I gave it a better score than you.
Yeah,
I was hating on it more.
I'm just I'm just trying to be objective. The way I see it is I don't want to say it's damn near perfect, which is a 9 to me. I think it's better than very good. Like this movie has a lot going for it. It lives in the hearts and minds of a lot of middle-aged men who grew up watching this shit, especially people who ended up training martial arts. A lot of people learn how to do martial arts from it. Johnny Cage's character is based off of it. Jean-Claude Van Damme himself is, considered a bit of he's old school, but he was an action star, not quite on the level of like Stallone and Arnold, but he was sometimes nipping at their heels. And yeah, it's just and the UFC, it kind of reminds a lot of people about the Kumite and Bloodsport and something like that. So if anybody goes back and watches those early fights and they have seen Bloodsport, they're gonna be like, holy shit, it's just like it. So I mean, there's a lot of things going for it that makes it easy for it to live on and not die. Okay, John, when we take all those scores and we average them out, divide by 10, we got Bloodsport a score of 6.47. Now, out of the 11 movies that I have done a podcast on so far and scored, it puts it at number 9. It is right above Congo and Cobra, and it is right below Constantine and Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Nice, nice.
Not too bad. Not too bad. That's actually a better score than I thought it was going to get.
I think so. Yeah, I didn't realize. Yeah, I think so too. I thought I was gonna bring it down a lot more than that, but
But it gets a good solid Highlander score.
yeah.
All right, John, are there any other things you want to throw out about this movie?
I don't think so. I think that was about it.
Awesome. Okay, guys. It was super fun going back and talking about Bloodsport from 1998. I'm always going to love this movie. I don't care what John says. John is full of shit. Okay. John doesn't know what he's talking about. He's a piece of shit. And he wanted to do this podcast just so he can shit all over it. Even though he ended up giving a few better scores than I did.
You're not wrong.
But yeah, it was super fun. Okay. Make sure you subscribe to the channel on Spotify and on YouTube. And if you have any recommendations for movies that you want us to do an episode on, put it in the comment section or something like that. All right. Peace out, bitches.
Later.